Yo, what up, Nine Nation? Want to do a quick video on the quarterback situation heading into the 2024 season. Obviously, John Rice Plumlee is graduating, and next year's quarterback competition is wide open. The question is, should it be? And what should UCF do? Should UCF go with a quarterback that is already on the roster, or should they hit the transfer portal? As it stands right now, UCF has the following quarterbacks on the roster. They have Timmy McClain, they have Dylan Rizk, I think it's pronounced. They have the other USF quarterback that's, not going to play, but he's on the roster. Then they're going to have Riley Trujillo, who's coming in this quarterback class. And then they will also have EJ Colson, who reclassified from the 25 class to the 24 class. So outside of McClain, you have a ton of youth. You either have true freshmen or redshirt freshmen on this roster. And the only one with any true playing experience is Timmy McClain. So what should UCF do here? Obviously, we've seen they're pursuing portal quarterbacks very hard. They'd already been rumored for the Tyler Show, who transferred from Texas Tech and ended up choosing, I believe, Louisville, and they hosted him on a visit. Then they went and hosted Grayson McCall from Coastal Carolina, and he had us in his top two between us and NC State, and obviously NC State ultimately won out. A lot of Night Nation, including myself, is very excited about the prospect of getting Grayson McCall. This is a guy that's passed for over 10,000 yards and 80 touchdowns in his career, was the 3-time Sun Belt Player of the Year. Very good player. Completely understandable why we'd want him. The question is, with the quarterback market drying up, most of the top quarterbacks and even the upper tier, upper middle class of quarterbacks in the portal have committed somewhere else. And let's be honest, there's only a certain level of quarterback that UCF can afford and realistically get. So my question is, do we want to roll with Timmy McClain next year? And there's been a lot of backlash when UCF missed out on the two quarterbacks, specifically McCall. UCF Twitter went crazy, that we swung and missed on it. And basically, I think everyone from the fan base to the coaching staff has indicated they want a transfer quarterback in here. I think if the coaching staff had clear confidence in Timmy, we wouldn't be going out so hard and looking for a portal quarterback. And it's not just depth. It's one thing to say, hey, we want to get quarterback depth in there. You have a bunch of freshmen, and if Timmy was the guy for sure, going into next year, that they would just want at least to have a reliable backup quarterback with some experience. Understandable. But clearly they're going after a starting level quarterback. That's what McCall was. That's what Tyler Shuck was. This reminds me a little bit of the Mikey Keene situation. Keene was the incumbent the prior season, and UCF went out and got Plumlee, and it seemed like it was basically Plumlee's job to lose from the start, that Keene didn't get as fair of a shake for how decently he performed as a freshman. And was he a world beater? Did he win people over completely that year, Keene? No. But regardless of how good he performed, and there was a lot of reports that he did really well in practice during the off season, during spring ball, during summer ball, that he deserved the job. It looked like Gus was set on giving the job to Plumlee. Whether you agree with or disagree, that's not the point. But the point is that it feels like a similar situation here, that UCF wants someone to start over McClain. The coaching staff is clearly going after a starting quarterback and clearly doesn't have the full confidence of him being the starting quarterback. Are they going to give him a chance to compete and camp for the starting gig? Of course. But they're pursuing a quarterback to start. This is not a depth play. This is not like they're going out, like similar how, and one of the quarterbacks I forgot, Xavier Williams, like that, a depth play. The other USF kid, a depth play. Though that's just because, hey, if we have an emergency, all the quarterbacks get injured, we need some depth on the roster. Those were guys that came in with zero chance to start and just there in case of an emergency. That's not what this is. UCF is pursuing quarterbacks that are going to most likely start. And I understand it. I think McClain didn't 100% prove himself to be that guy where you can't look any other way. That's got to be him. Like, he's the bona fide QB1 no matter what, like we've had with, Dylan Gabriel when Gus's first season in. Obviously, he was going to get the start, right? Or Mackenzie Milton or any of the great quarterbacks that we've had. For me, though, after kind of really thinking about it and looking at Timmy and going back and watching some of his replays and looking at his stats, I do think he deserves a fair shot. And also, regardless of if you agree with that or not, my question is, at this point, with the quarterbacks that are left on the market and with the ones that UCF can realistically get and realistically afford through the NIL, is there anyone that's going to be appreciably better than Timmy McClain? That much better, where it's like, oh my God, 100%, we got to get him. If he's willing to commit and we have the money for him, you got to get him. Grayson McCall, absolutely. Some of these other quarterbacks that are out there that committed other places, of course. But I'm talking about what UCF can realistically afford with their NIL. Is that guy going to be better than Timmy McClain, one? And two, is he even going to have as much experience as Timmy? At this point, Timmy's played a full season as a starter at USF his freshman year, and he started 4 games this past season for us, and played in another 2. So we're looking at, what is that about? Let's call it 18 games. I don't know if there's a quarterback that UCF can realistically get that has started 18 games of college football and has that type of experience. That's my main contention with this. Look, maybe there's going to be, I'm sure more guys will enter the portal after the bowl games, and then there's another transfer portal window in the spring where more guys may enter. By all means, pursue, if some great guys open up or go into the portal and UCF has a chance at them and they're obviously better than Timmy McClain, absolutely get them if you can. I'm not shunning or not trying to say, hey, let's not find an opportunity to get a better quarterback. First of all, iron sharpens iron. You want competition. And if there's a guy that's better than Timmy, then of course you got to go get it. You got to do what's best for the team. I just don't know if that guy out there exists that UCF can actually get. And I wanted to talk a little about Timmy's performance that I think we underrated a little bit. Did he make mistakes? Absolutely. Did he hold on to the ball too long at times? Absolutely. Did he have a couple of bad turnovers? Yes. But A, he's still young, and B, I still think his positives outweighed the negatives. So let's talk about the 4 games he started. He went 1-3 in those games. But in those games, UCF allowed 51 points on defense, 36 points on defense, and 44 points on defense. And then he beat Villanova, so that's really, whatever, it's an FCS school. But in those 3, the defense played absolutely awful, and, there wasn't much of a chance to win those games when you're giving up 40-plus points. And also, statistically, here's his stats. 1,008 yards, 64% completion, 10.3 yards average throw completion, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and had another 100 yards on the ground and a touchdown on the ground. To be honest with you, those stats, like when you go game by game on a relative basis, are actually better than Plumlee. He had a better completion percentage than Plumlee. He had only 4 less touchdowns than Plumlee and had 6 less interceptions and had a better QB rating. Now, of course, Plumlee missed time, so, Plumlee didn't play in every single game. But when you talk about relative, at least on pace, McClain would have had better stats than Plumlee. Was Plumlee better for the offense this year? Did he play more poise? Absolutely. I'm not saying that McClain should have replaced Plumlee, and obviously Plumlee's a better athlete than McClain. And Plumlee was a big reason why we won some of the games that we won. I'm not saying that he shouldn't have been the quarterback. I'm just saying that McClain, over those 4 games, actually played pretty damn well. 9 touchdowns to 2 picks, 64% completion percentage was pretty damn good. So yes, he made some boneheaded plays. Yes, he made some mistakes, but I think his mistakes aren't in mechanics or skill. I think that's a lot of it is mental and things that can be fixed if you develop. And here's a guy that's been in the system for 2 years. If he's here next year, that'll be his 3rd year in UCF's system. This is a guy that UCF has coached up and can coach up more. How many guys in today's world, college football world, are going to actually stay for longer than 2 years? So this is a prime opportunity. We talk about roster churn and not being able to develop guys. Well, this is an area, a guy you can do that. This is a guy that's going to be here for multiple years, and would, potentially, if he ends up being a starter, could be here for 4 years. Why not try to develop that? Because next year is a transition year. UCF is losing a ton of veterans, and all of the quarterbacks outside McClain are super young. I don't see any world where any of the freshmen like Rizk, Trujillo, or Colson are starting. They're too young, they're too green. In a year, especially when you talk about if the three-headed monster of Harvey, Baker, and Hudson comes back, they want a guy with experience. They want a guy that knows the system. And Timmy is a guy like that. Of course, the counter argument is, in the world of college football, you may only have a guy for a year. So go out and get the best guy for that year. Every single year, go get the best guy you can get. Because any guy that you have, whether you recruit him out of high school or transfer, may be gone the following year. So why not get the best possible team together? And I completely understand that. I just am not sure that person exists in the portal that UCF can realistically get. So my thought is, why not give Timmy McClain a really fair shake at this and see what he can do over a 12-game season? I don't think anyone's expecting UCF to be a conference contender next year. We've lost a lot of depth. We're going to have a very youth team. We're very senior laden this year, and we lost a lot of seniors, and it's going to be a very young team. And then obviously that changes a little bit if that three-headed monster I alluded to comes back. But there's no reason McClain can't be the guy that gets them the ball and be reliable. The talent that those three have, I don't think you need an elite level quarterback for them to look good and to play good. So look, if a guy is out there that we can get, absolutely go get him. But if there's not someone that's that much better than McClain or is on the same level, I say give the guy that has the experience, 16 games, has been in the system for 2 years, has shown some promise what he did this year, and let's roll with it. Because at the end of the day, this next year is not the year that we're still building. We're in building phase. We're only gonna, this 24 class that comes tomorrow is going to be the second Big 12 recruiting class. So it's going to be a couple years before we're really in the thick of the conference race and have a bunch of these 4-star guys that are in our system. So my thought is give Timmy McClain a chance. I don't know what your thoughts are, but would love to hear it.